Well, welcome to the lab, folks, and let's talk about rust and flash rust and dealing with rust. Unfortunately, a whole day's worth of my videos for this video disappeared on me, and that will happen from time to time, unfortunately. But let me recap what I did. So I looked through my parts box and found the most gnarly rusted parts that I can find. And I found these two parts here. These are both from an Embry Defiance. It's pretty chewed up. I don't know why I saved them, but I wanted to test them out. So, I wanted to test this Evapor rust out. And I went and got this little 1 quart, and still it was $9 and change for this. Crazy. It's reusable, great, but still. And I'll tell you more. The video picks up me taking them out of this container here. I put them in here and I filled it up. In fact, I threw something else in here to work on. I just threw that in about an hour ago. Just something else to see what it'll do. Another burn apart. So, what my rust concern is a number of things. Rust is first how to deal with it and remove it. So I'm trying other ideas for removing it. And if you've seen my videos, you know how I get rid of my rust. Wire brushes and steel wool and elbow grease, things like that. But then I noticed other problems as well, as far as interesting flash rust on some of my lanterns that I had worked on. And this, unfortunately, you'll see in the video. But say this, this is a Defiance Triumph number 2, and I had to replace this whole lever mechanism here and this whole plate that's soldered on here. And I reinforced some solder here in the bottom of the air tubes. But what I had noticed was that there was this flash rust that showed up in these weird spots on here. And I was dumbfounded, and I thought, boy, those spots look familiar. So the more I look at it, and I realized that at first I thought it was where I used acetone to clean up these areas before soldering. But the more I thought about it, the more I looked at just how localized that, and you'll see upcoming here in the video, that in my conclusion is that Flux, where I put Flux all over the place for this, Flux is there to help your solder bond with the metal. It etches your metal. It's an acid. So, and it's in all the spots that I put the Flux. And I even saw little streams of it, because whenever you would heat, it's kind of a paste. And it would kind of run. And I could see where the runs were. So my theory is that I did not clean this off well enough after the soldering. I did not get that Flux off there, and then I went and treated over the top of it with my linseed oil, and it just rusted because it just left the metal completely vulnerable. So, yeah. So that's and boy, that's too bad. I had a lot of good discussions about rust and things and how to deal with it. But you'll see in the video that I discussed what I did here, and I discussed my thoughts on this, and we talked about flash rust on your lanterns, and okay, so, and I just happened to notice this. I just went in to edit this video that you're watching now, and I realized that the beginning was all gone, so I had to come back in here and throw this together. So, like I said, let's continue. We'll go on with the video, and hopefully this will catch us up on what got lost. And the video, I did a 24-hour test. So what I did was I had that container. I poured a whole bunch of this, and there's like this much left in here. And I left this stuff in it for exactly 24 hours. So that's where our test began. 24 hours of this being in evaporust. And, okay. I know what it is. I know what happened. Notice these areas. Now, all the areas with the flash rust are areas that I cleaned up extra heavy to do solder repair. The solder repair I did there. And I replaced this whole mechanism here. And I reinforced these joints in the air tube right along the burner barrel there. So that's what happened. It was very, very vulnerable metal because I was down to the extreme bare metal that you need to do so you have solder bonding. So, and all the rest of this, where it's not happening, that it's still protected by this oxidation that's locked in the steel. So that's what happened. I'm sitting there going, boy, what a weird... Then I turned it around, and I'm like, okay, yep, it's all in the same spot. Right where I did that work. And this, I cleaned this super, super duper clean because I needed the solder to bond to this and to the lantern. And it's not anywhere else on the lantern except, look at that, right there, right around where I cleaned super heavy to do the solder repairs. Look at that. Interesting. All right. Now I know to go to leave a good heavy layer of oil on the solder repairs. Interesting. Okay, so our experiment is going here in Thursday, 9 p.m. So tomorrow on Friday evening, I will check those out and see how they're doing. Okay, back to the grindstone. Oh, and I just thought, wait, I just had another thought. Could it be that I didn't clean off the flux enough? Because flux is an acid, right? Isn't flux an acid? Supposed to help etch the metal so your solder sticks to it? And that is everywhere I put flux. Just wipe it, wipe it, wipe it. Wiped it all over everywhere. Maybe that's it. Right? Maybe that's why it looks like it's in spots where it kind of dribbled down. Comes over like that. Boy, so many things to think about. I bet you it has something to do with flux. I'm going to have to read up. Read up on flux. Maybe because a couple times I have cleaned up the flux with acetone to make sure that I got it off the lantern. I'll have to go look at some other lanterns with some heavy solder work and check that out. Okay. Till tomorrow. Okay, we're back in the lab. It's been 24 hours. It is 9 p.m. on Friday now. Let's see what we got here. And I'll take some pictures. I'll try to place them exactly like I did the pictures I took before I put them in here. And I'll put them at the end of this video and we can compare. Let's take a look. Boy, it is a mess. Well, let me get a wire brush. I don't know what or anything if this wire brushing's doing anything extra, but seems like the right thing to do to see what's underneath all this. That actually did pretty good. This thing was pretty bad. You know, I'm a little skeptical because I feel like that's still there because this was. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah, that was not under. I didn't put enough fluid in, but, and I know that brass doesn't rust, so we don't have to worry about that. But I still may want to stick something down in there, clean that out. Well, this would make that burner a logical replacement for one in need. I mean, before I was like, man, this is like an emergency, you know, and I don't know what possible kind of I have to fire up my lantern emergency may have. You know, I would assume you'd be a little bit more prepared for like a power outage or something like that. Ooh. And I have a pipe cleaner. This is a pipe cleaner that's got a little bit of a abrasive brush in it. This is not, these are not the crafting types of pipe cleaners. So that's not bad. You can see how bad this thing was here with all that serious rust. But this is completely useful. And I would probably get a pretty, well, I mean, I would still, see there's texture to me. Why I like my wire wheel better. You see, I smoothed it out with that wire wheel, but before that it was literally sandpaper like. All right, well, that's cool. Yeah, like I said, the texture is just really weird. I mean, granted, I don't see rust, but texture is really weird. But I think I would still put this on the wheel, so I don't know if I would do this step or not. I mean, I would do it for, you know, like for the inside here. That's great. I normally don't do a lot to the inside of the crowns. Oh, wow. All right, you guys got to see this. I just realized with this thing, proves how heavily rusted it was. Hold on a minute. Let me kill a couple lights here. I'll show you what I just saw.
Damn!
Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Wow. That's a constellation right there. Wow. Never seen that. I would assume that this rust remover did that because I mean, of course, I've never done this to look at that. In a time long ago, in a place far, far away. Okay, well, I mean, this would work temporarily. I mean, this is like I said, this is for an embry. This could probably go on and you know, right on a Defiance or an Air Pilot. But it's not a whole lot of meat left on here, but it is workable. Maybe I'll after I rinse them with water, I'll do a little test with my Dremel to see. Because that, I mean, you get a texture like that, and that's just, I mean, that's probably like literally twice the surface area of a smooth surface. So that just gives it that much more area to rust again. All those little nooks and crannies. All right, I'll do that. I'll go wash them off. This stuff, it's got a kind of a little bit of a like a rotten, eggy kind of smell to it. But I love the idea that you can reuse the stuff. So I'll leave this container somewhere around here in my lab, and we'll use it for small parts like that. I would use it, especially for burners, that kind of thing. I mean, as far as to make something functional, not necessarily aesthetically pleasing. All right, let me go wash these up. All right, so I'm just curious to see how easily, if at all, can get some smooth texture back on that. Oh, try it on this side. Ah. Yeah, started getting into it there. So, my outcome on that is it's not the greatest, but I know what we started with, so I knew this was a lost cause no matter what. But it would be a suitable replacement if needed. I mean, you know, it's gonna let rain in with all the holes. But this is, you know, I mean, that's almost visually acceptable. If I could, probably on the my bench grinder over there would take more of that off. But it certainly has removed any of the rust color from deep inside the metal. So maybe doing this before wire wheeling is a plus visually. That's not awful. I mean, this thing was a toast. All right, so maybe I'll find some other parts, some other types of parts. Thing is, my little container here is, like like a whole globe guard or anything like that won't fit in there. And I'm not going to go buy more of this stuff because it's, let's see here. That was a quart, and this was like $9 and change. So, yeah, it's just not, I know people I've seen people with 5-gallon buckets full. So, I mean, they're having to buy 5 gallons worth of this stuff. And I think, oh man, what's it, like $29 or something for a gallon of it? That's just not worth it. I mean, I kind of like wire wheeling things because I am in complete control from beginning to end on how much is removed, how much stays, what I would want visually to stay, say something to keep a patina on something, things like that. But I think for like burner parts and things, I think this is a really good application for it. But I don't think if I just took this straight to my grinder and smoothed it out, that all these holes would be visible. I mean, I'm looking at it more now. I mean, it's like Swiss cheese. The more I'm looking at it, it's amazing. The holes. I mean, I could almost read through it. I can see my hands. So, yeah, I think is the jury still out? No, I'm gonna keep soaking things and try it, but not not awful for I would say mechanisms. I think it would be good, and maybe for like the globe plates, the bottoms. Like, let's bring this back over. We were talking about this, and my little freak out saying, "I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what caused that." But like the globe plate, that round plate underneath there, and like the dome over the burner and things. Let's take a look, and I'll show you. So I like this part, and it's a different style of this same deal here. But same things apply. So yeah, see that? Right there. So that's, you can see how it's chewed up. this is. And that, you know, and that's still got that beautiful natural patina on it. And that patina is not here anymore. And that's also another reason for the aesthetic value of it. That patina's gone. It's completely gone. So, you know, like I said, oh, gee, look at the wick's way down. I had this thing burning. Okay. So, and we're going to come back to this in a minute. Yeah, so that was 24 hours in there. And you can see that, I mean, it did something. And look at all that. And I guess that, you know, you can keep reusing this from what I read on the bottle. So we'll do that. All right. So in conclusion with this, I would use it for mechanisms like this, burners and small pieces. For I don't know, for external parts, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so, because it removed a lot. Yeah. All right. So. Okay, so. I was talking about before. It's all the areas that I put acetone and flux and solder on this. I did a lot of I replaced this whole lift mechanism here, and this here was soldered on, and the globe plate here with the lift lever, I soldered it there, and you can see, yeah, look at, that's where the rust is there. And I put acetone and flux here. So it's one of the two. I would venture to say that it's the flux, because the acetone is, I mean, it cleans off any kind of impurities. And flux would be an impurity because, I mean, it's an acid, right? You can almost see where, like, it ran down. Last, you know, I thought that I'll have to go back and look at the video. I could have sworn that I went back and acetone the living heck out of all these areas after I did all this. I could have sworn I had it on video. But anyway, so I went back into the house. Same one as the one we just, that's an embry crown. Same one we just did in our test. But that's not why I brought it out. Right now, because I saw some, where did I see it? Ah, yes. This one, there's a video of this, you can go see it. I can't tell if you can tell, but all the way around here is flash rusting around this big hole. This was big rusted out hole here. And I had tried soldering it, and decided the gaps were just too huge. So I went to JB Weld it. So that's, I feel like that's acetone because of the coverage of it. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. So yeah, so this one, like I said, this is a big repair, big solder repair. And I thought I remember doing some other soldering to this. I could be wrong. I may have done some reinforcing. Yeah, I think I did. I get a lot of these Triumphs, and I've worked on them, and I can't remember what I did to what. But these are both very pretty, and these are both properties City of Rochester. I'm getting a lot of these, and because I live, you know, 30 minutes from Rochester, so that's why I get a lot of these Rochester-made things. And I'm also only an hour from Warsaw, where they made embries, and an hour from Syracuse, where they made Dietz. So we're in a good spot. And notice how different the bales are on these. See that? That's interesting. All right. So, in conclusion, this is not concluded yet because I just don't know. So, folks, you tell me what you think is causing this. Is it the flux or is it the acetone? And looking at this one, to me, it looks like more like where I put the flux than the acetone, because I know a couple of these I went nuts with a brush. Here's my acetone brush. So what I'll do is, if I find out any new information on this issue, or even if I try another experiment with the rust remover, I will put a link, look in the description below this video. And so if I ever do a follow-up to any of this video, it'll be down there. And maybe even check back with that, because who knows how long it could be before I do that. And right now, we're at the beginning of October of 2024. So who knows? But I find that interesting because I'm going to be doing this a lot. And this is, yeah. I mean, this won't be super hard to fix, but how annoying is that? Luckily, the drier season is coming up, winter here. But, all right. So, that's it. That's all I got for this. And, folks, thank you very much. Like I said, you have any ideas? You craft guys that do soldering on, it doesn't have to be lanterns or just, metal, steel in general, if you have seen this kind of issue. And before I forget, folks, I'm going to steel wool these rusted areas so I can put these back on display. I steel wooled it, and I'm going to acetone it, and then I'm going to reapply my linseed oil and kerosene mixture and put it back on a shelf, and then I'll monitor it from there. And the other one's got some more heavy stuff. I'll probably take some, I'll do the exact same thing to the other one, and I'll monitor it, and we'll see. So, like I said, check for updates, check for them down below in the description section. If there's not a link there, then I haven't done an update video. So, all right, folks, cool. And folks, thank you so much for stopping by. And as usual, don't you go changing. In a time long ago, in a place far, far away,